everyone. Before we get started, can you guys just give us a thumbs up in the comments just to make sure that you can see us properly and that you can hear us as well. We'll take that as a yes. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So good evening everyone. I'm Mel and this is Deb, and we are coming to you live from the quarantine station, now known as the Q station, and this is one of Australia's most haunted sites. We are currently standing out the front of the Gravedigger's cottage, and we are going to go inside in a moment and do a bit of an investigation tour. But before we do, what I'd like to do is just give you a bit of an idea about the cottage. So this is one of the oldest cottages on site. It was built around 1840, and it is right smack bang in the middle of the first and the second burial ground. So there is over 324 bodies buried somewhere here.
Yes, Mel, that's right. This is one of the most haunted buildings on the location. This particular building has a history and reputation of having a lot of experiences, both for guides as well as many guests who've been here. Some people can't even get past the front door. So yeah, we'll be going in there tonight ourselves, so feeling a little bit nervous. But we've had all sorts of things happen over the years to guests and things like that. Things like feeling icy cold chills, feeling touches on their hair or body. People have heard voices, sometimes speaking directly into their ear, saying get out, things like that. Also lots of nausea happens in here, dizziness, and we have had the odd person run out to vomit. So
and a few fainters as well.
A few fainters.
So hopefully that's not going to happen tonight.
Yeah, and sometimes people are overcome with really extreme, unexplained emotions. They will burst into tears. They don't know why they're crying. So we've had a lot of really strange things happen in this house. So this is a bit of a pinnacle building for most of us, and me especially. I'll tell you why in a second.
Yes, Deb's got a bit of a challenge, a personal challenge to deal with tonight. So let's go in and see what's happening. Come on.
All right, come this way.
Come with us.
Okay, so in here is where I have had the most full-on experience that I've ever had in the 6 years I've worked here. Now, I'm not a big scaredy cat that freaks out in the dark or at any little sound. We have to do a site check here as guides, and we walk around the site totally by ourselves, just with a torch before the tours begin. And I can tell you now, it is freaky as hell. But I can go in any building here on my own and not feel totally terrified. But this place is very different. And I'll be telling you shortly about what happened to me in 2016
So that's why we're going to send you in first, but don't forget to knock, okay? We knock out of respect just to let them know that we're coming.
But it's already open.
Well, look, we just got to knock before we go in.
Okay, these are not going to be happy. Right, here we go.
Okay, so Lachlan, our cameraman, is just going to pan around the room for you, and you'll get to see him in a moment as well. It is a 2-bedroom cottage, and there is a kitchen in the middle of the room. Down the back, you have a bathroom, a sunroom, and a laundry. So we've got various sorts of equipment set up tonight throughout the house, and we're going to see what we can get, like what activity we can get tonight. So we're going to head down into the kitchen now, the centre of the room, and get some of that equipment. So let's go. Just pop this lantern here. Debbie, going to grab the SLS camera.
Yes.
I've got an EMF reader in my hand here and a torch as well. And we've already had some spikes on the EMF reader here, which is electromagnetic field detector. So any change in the electromagnetic field around us may show up on these devices. They're also known as K2 meters.
And we did our baseline readings earlier, so we will know when it goes up beyond the level that we were measuring here before. So yeah, first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about the ghosts that we feel are in here, and things that people have encountered, involving names and things like that. Also things that have been picked up in recordings. First of all, this seems to be the ghost of a man called Sam, or Samuel, as he prefers to be called, in this house. Now, based on things that have come through with him, we think he may have been a grave digger. He definitely sounds like he was staff here on the site. And there's also in the front bedroom, people have picked up the voice of a man who introduced himself as Martin. And his voice has come through a number of times in some of our recordings. But more recently, I want to tell you about something that's happened where we have discovered somebody else that we didn't know too much about before. Now, I noticed someone in the comments earlier with the post for this event had written up that they were once told about a matron who walks on the veranda. Well, when we first heard about that, we thought, why would a matron be over here? She would expected to be at the hospital. But then I was doing some research recently, looking up some records, and I discovered that back around the time this place was built, actually it would have been a year or two later, there were 4 wooden buildings outside in the third class, or what's now the third class precinct. At the time, that was the only accommodation on the site. And they had the healthy people there, and so the married couples would be in the centre 2 buildings, and either side were the single women and the single men. And guess what? It says it was overseen by a matron. So she was hanging around here. Now, also at the same time, they had always had 2 doctors back then, one who'd oversee the sick ground and one who'd oversee the healthy ground. And I did find in the records, I don't really want to say their names, let's call them Dr. A and Dr. B, but one of them ended up basically being demoted for incompetence. His money that he would receive, something's going off now.
Hello, Deb. Yep, we've got an
EMF.
EMF. EMF is going off as well.
Going off. So one of them was demoted and made the other one's assistant, and his bonus was taken off him. This is all factual. And he was denied his passage back to England. So he was a doctor who was basically trapped here, and that was back around the 1841 mark. There were a lot of crazy things that happened that year. The very first superintendent took his own life. And in the inquest notes that I recently found, it says that a young girl on the same day was found having taken poison. So there's some really interesting things when we sort of look back
That's
around
just Deb,
the
everyone.
1840 era. Now, coincidentally, keep this lady in mind, there has been an older woman has been picked up in this house. Now, she was first sighted quite a few years ago by a very psychic friend of mine, and he saw her rush at him through this room towards the door, and she had a finger up at her mouth as if to say shush. And he decided to give her the name the Keeper of Secrets. Yeah, Mel's got the SLS going at the moment.
I'm going to hand the SLS over to you, Deb, to have a look around.
Okay. And more recently, there was another psychic person here, and she said that she was picking up on an older woman who was not very nice in here, and said her name was Martha. So we're going to be trying to communicate with her a little bit later, and possibly the doctor.
And they're both more of the negative kind of...
Yeah, more on the negative line of things, yeah. So on a more creepy level, we were in here with a group one night, and through the ITC communication came a woman's voice that said, "My house." So yeah, this is sort of the first time that we're going to be acknowledging her during this investigation. So it's something a little bit new that you might see tonight, and we're really hoping that she'll come through for us. We did get a get out earlier from an older woman's voice when we were setting up the equipment. So this is the SLS camera. That stands for Structured Light Sensor. And what it's going to be looking for is movement as well as limbs, because it's based on like an Xbox type of design. And so there we go, yeah, we've picked up Mel now. So when it detects what it identifies as a human person or human body, it will, if it's a living person, it will map them out with a solid shape like Mel appears here, and then the stick figure will draw over the top. What we're going to be looking for, however, are stick figures without a body, because that's telling us that is quite likely...
preferably not standing right behind you. Oh look, we've got a spike in the EMF here.
Okay, so
Can you get
picking
this
up something
look
there. So we'll be using this throughout the night.
So now it stops, you've scared it away.
So what we might do is, first of all, if Lachlan wants to film over my shoulder, we'll just have a little bit of a look.
If there's anyone here, can you come back and stand
Sorry, Lachlan.
next to me in the doorway, please?
I'll have to film you, Mel. I'll just go over here a little bit. I just heard a noise over here.
Oh, another spike over here, guys. Just seems to be in this doorway.
If someone just made that ticking noise in one of these rooms, could you please do that again? That was your foot, I think.
That was
that's
me
fine.
walking. Well, let's head down here to the back. We might head into the sunroom and see what's happening in there.
Right. Okay, this is where my challenge starts. Right, in this
You can
area.
do it.
Okay.
So we're now located at the back of the cottage. This is the sunroom. That
That's
was
the REM
our
pod.
REM pod that
Yep.
just went off. So if you want to have a look in there, look into the laundry, the REM pod has just gone off, and that puts out an EMF field, and if that's broken, it will make a sound and flash in the direction of where the movement came from.
Where the energy came from.
So as you can see, no one's in there, and the EMF is not showing anything, but that REM pod definitely went off. You would have heard that.
It's detected something's broken its field. Also, when we were setting off, the little proxy meter that we've got in one of the bedrooms went off while we were outside. We had to run in to turn it off. Yeah. And
So Deb, do you want to tell everyone about your challenge for tonight and why it is such a challenge? What you experienced a couple of years ago, I believe, wasn't it?
I will. So, I'm actually shaking. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm standing in the very spot where I had this experience. So this was in 2016, February it was, and I was in here talking to one of the new guides I was doing some training with. There was a couple of people, we had a very small tour group, and they were mainly in the laundry area. So we walked in here, I was standing in this spot next to this cupboard, and over in that far corner used to be a second chair, but the new guide was trying to fix the chair and the arm had come off, so he's whacking it with his hand. So I had walked in just to say to him, don't worry about making any noise, we'll just, keep it quiet so people can investigate and have a look around. So he then asked me a few questions about the furniture. So I'm standing here just telling him a little bit about the style of the furniture, and all of a sudden from...
Yeah, I hate to say it, but we're getting quite a strong reading as you're talking and telling this.
Okay, in the doorway.
EMF.
Yep.
So I wonder if someone is standing here with us,
Okay.
listening to you reenact this story, this situation that you went through.
I'm not keen on a reenactment.
Yeah, no,
But anyway, what happened was I was standing here just discussing the furniture, wasn't feeling creeped out or anything, and all of a sudden, from right here, I felt the strongest heavy force beginning to shove down on the top of my head. And I could also feel it on my shoulders. And
oh, there goes the REM pod again in the
talking
laundry.
about what happened.
Oh, and it's gone. So as soon as Lachlan is shining the light from the camera on there, it stops. Oh,
I'm doing it again.
doing it again, prove me wrong. And look, we're also getting an EMF reading. It's spiking. I wonder who's in the laundry. If that's Samuel, can you come out and join us, please? We'd just like to communicate with you tonight. So please feel free to come out and let us know you are here. Or if it's not Samuel, it might be Martin. Or perhaps the lady of the house.
Martha.
So, Deb, what about that figure on the SLS camera that was seen in the laundry?
Yeah, well, one night when we were doing an investigation, a group of us were standing around the doorway here looking in the laundry. We had the camera going, the SLS, And when we looked in there, it picked up on a stick figure without a body, crouching like it was hiding underneath the sink there. And we watched it for a little while, and then I said out loud, "We can see you in there." And it actually got up and walked past us out the door. Everyone was just absolutely blown away. But yeah, I'm kind of pretty proud of myself for coming in this room tonight, because after the experience I had here with that heavy pressure, I asked everyone else in the room if they could feel it. They couldn't. And after standing in it for what felt like about 40 seconds, it was getting stronger. And I decided to leave. But by the time I got to the front veranda, I was staggering like I'd been drugged, and I wanted to vomit.
So we've also had the words cannot and dirt come through the iovolus here on my phone, but it's also the REM pod is going crazy at the moment as
now
well.
the dirt comment's actually very interesting, because when I did come back in here after quite a while, when I got the courage, actually a lovely lady called Leanne Audley, if you're on there tonight, Leanne, hi. She's an amazing psychic. She came on a tour with us, and she convinced me to come in and she'd stand with me in this room. So
we've got the word fear come through.
Right.
So I think they can feel your fear.
I think they can.
So let's maybe get Lachlan to do an experiment.
Yes.
If you're all right with this, Lachlan, what I'd like to do, and we often do on the tours, is do a bit of an experiment with the chair.
Yeah, we will, yeah. So I just want to say that when you're standing there, we both felt our legs being pulled down through the floor.
Oh, look.
Both of us felt that. And Leanne said that to her, that tells her something is buried underneath the floor here. So, you know, I didn't know what it meant, but I definitely felt the pull through my legs. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
All right, so we're getting a spike here, and we'll just see. It's still just saying fear on the iovolus. So I'm going to sit in the chair. Quite often, when a female sits in this chair, nothing seems to happen with the EMF readers. But when a male sits in the chair, it's a different story. Now, the thing is with this chair, when people on our tours, so the guests come in, it's a really common occurrence for them to simply say, even from the front door, there's someone in the chair. I can see a shadow figure in the chair, there's a man sitting in the chair. It's something I'm sure all the guides have heard. So we believe that perhaps it could be Samuel or one of the other gravediggers or someone else that used to live in this house. Yep, another device went off, I think that was in the second bedroom. So as you can see, it's not doing anything with me. So Lachlan, would you mind taking a seat in the chair and just grabbing this EMF reader and see if we happen to get anything while you sit there?
Sure, let me just gather myself for a second.
Come on.
Hey, where are you going?
You're going the wrong way.
Come back here.
Oh, we've got the word couch. You're not heading to the... It wants you to sit on the couch. Look,
I think he wanted to go out to the couch, actually.
well, look, chair, couch.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
So we've got the word couch come through on the iovolus. Right, so if you want to grab the EMF, yep, that one, awesome.
Now, while Lachlan's sitting there, I've got the SLS cam on him, and I'll let you know if anything comes up on the screen, and then we can hopefully...
If there's anything behind you, Lachlan, I'll tell you.
Well, I'm definitely getting something.
Oh, you're getting a reading? Yep, that, you're getting a spike. So is it okay that Lachlan sits in your chair? Is it alright if I sit in your chair?
It's flashing.
Oh, look at that, it stopped as soon as I came up behind you, Lachlan, and said, can I sit in the chair? All right, I'll take a step back, that's okay. No problem. Oh, now mine's spiking. I think that was the camera. We've got other cameras set up around the cottage that we will, if we capture anything, we'll be putting that footage up on the Facebook page at a later date. Okay. I think perhaps it might be an idea that seeing you got a bit of reaction there, Lachlan, that we get him to do something else, Deb?
Yes.
What about you guys? If you want Lachlan to go into the bathroom, don't panic, Lachlan. Shall we send Lachlan into the bathroom? I think we should make him sit in the bathtub.
Yeah, tell us in the comments, how do you feel about it, Lachlan?
Yeah.
Will you do it?
You want me to get in the bathtub?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the bathtub.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so-
Fine.
All
Yep.
right.
I can do
In-
it.
Is everyone telling you to do it as well?
Oof, yeah.
Good.
Take a breath.
Yep, we want that backup feed. Yeah.
All right, we're not going to tell you anything about the bathroom as yet
Till
or what
after.
people experience because we want to
Yes.
know what you experience in there, okay? So we'll get you to come in.
So what am I doing?
You're going to come into the bathroom and look, we're getting a reading. Can you see that already in the bathroom? I don't think we've got anything on the eye No, nothing on the eye just the EMF reading. So see the bath there? I'm not going to say anything just yet.
You the spirit box. So that
Oh,
you can-
excellent.
So
Yes,
you want me
that
to
would
get
be
in this bath?
Absolutely.
Yeah, how about it? You keen?
Can you just turn that on for me, please, Deb? So we're going to just get you to sit in the bathtub. We've got an EMF which is spiking already, Lachlan, over there. The EMF on the bathtub is spiking already. Now this is, without giving too much away for Lachlan and making him freak out, it's a particular room that has a lot of activity, okay? So we just want you to sit in the bathtub and we're just going to leave you in there for about a minute, okay?
Okay.
Come
Sure.
on. Yep, you can do
Okay.
it. So in your look, the EMF's going off already. So I will hold the camera. He's doing it, everyone. Someone, oh, is it? I don't have my glasses, but Jacqueline said, "Great effort, Lachlan." Good work.
Fully in the bathtub.
Yep, the worst stuff always does happen, Crystal, in this bathroom, but we're not going to tell Lachlan that just yet. So
You got your hands full.
you weren't listening.
Oh, he's going
That's
to take
right.
that, is he?
All right, here we go.
I'm in the bathtub.
Right, so he's in the bathtub,
So
and
now
what we're going to do is just get you to film if the people can at home see the EMF reader because that is spiking amazingly. And what I'm going to do as well is give you what's called a spirit box. Now it is a bit staticky, and it's just sweeping through the radio stations, and you're going to be listening out. And if anyone can hear words coming through, if you can pop them in the comments, that would be great. Because sometimes it's hard for us to hear the words. So Lachlan, if you can hold the spirit box as well. Okay, so if you guys at home hear any words come through clearly on the spirit box, just put them up for us so we can review them later. Now Lachlan, you'll be all right. We're just going to go for a minute.
You're going to leave me?
Yeah, for a couple of hours. Is that all right?
We won't leave you for a couple of hours. We're going to go just out here. We just want you to just sit there and see how you feel.
Okay.
Right?
Maybe
That's
ask
all.
them if they're wanting to join you while you're in here.
If you have any questions, guys, that Lachlan should ask while he's sitting in the bathtub, I'll leave it with you, Lachlan.
Yeah, don't go too far.
How are you doing in there, Lachlan? Walk us through what you're feeling.
There's a lot going on, I guess. It's pretty uncomfortable. And how long do I have to stay in here for?
We won't leave you in there much longer. Tell us, walk us through, are you feeling anything at all around your body, temperature?
Definitely a bit freaked out.
Feeling uneasy?
Pretty uneasy. Can confidently say uneasy.
Oh, what was that?
Got something through there. So remember, guys, to put up anything if you can hear any words come through. So Lachlan, if you feel that you've had enough and that you'd like to get out, you can come out.
Yeah, I've probably had enough.
All right, I'll take the camera. Poor Lachlan. He had no idea we were going to do that to him, but someone's got to do it.
A couple little spikes going on as well.
All right, so we've just got someone wanting to know, Janelle, I think it is. Sorry, Janelle, I don't have my glasses, but wanting to know what happened in this room or in this building. So this is actually really good because right now we're going to head through in a moment to one of the other rooms, the bedroom, to do some ITC, which is the instrumental transcommunication device. So we're going to try and communicate on a different level than what Lachlan was holding with the spirit box. So it's going to get rid of that static and hopefully words will come through a lot clearer. So we will go in and ask some of your questions. Obviously we won't be able to answer or get through everyone's questions, but we'll definitely try and answer a few of your questions when we go in and turn the ITC device on. So should we head in then, Deb?
Yeah, and think of some questions you might want us to ask.
All right, I'll have a look. Nothing's coming through on the iobolus. Yeah, I heard your.
Oh, that would have been.
We lost Lachlan. All right, so we're going to set up in here.
Is that be running? It's working, isn't it? We'll sit down on this.
So we're just turning on the mini portal here. You'll be able to hear some voices coming through.
And over here we've set up a few triggers. So on the right hand side here we've got a little bottle of rum and a cigarette just to try to bring about Sam or any of the gravediggers to come and communicate with us. This is the little device that went off before when we were outside.
Deb, I just heard that lady's voice come through again saying get out.
Oh yeah, we got that earlier. She told us to get out. And next to that we've got the doctor's bag with some stethoscope and something that looks a little bit like a needle. It's really a pen, but it might help. So yeah, we'll see if that helps to bring anyone through.
So we're going to sit here now. Or did it say Lachlan?
I think I heard Lachlan. Sorry, I'll grab the SLS out of the way. So if you would like to show everyone the Spiritus app that we're going to be using.
So this is the device we're using here, the mini portal, and it's connected to an app which is called Spiritus, and it's a 4-bank sound bank app that is no whole words, it's just phonetics. So what you mainly will hear is gibberish, but when a whole word comes through, that's what we want. And we've had some amazing results in here from people's names to actually someone correcting me one night saying they drank Smirnoff instead of rum, because we always refer to the rum because of the grave digger. They used to get a bottle of rum per body that they buried.
Should we listen to it?
So exactly, let's have a listen. So one of the questions was, what happened in here? This is Mel and Deb and Lachlan. Can you tell us what happened in this cottage? What is your name, please? Is Sam here?
Is the original doctor who lived here still here in the cottage? Are there any children around in this building? Children have been picked up in here before. We've had children voices come through.
That just said girl.
Ah, so we got girl. Is Martha here? Is Martha here in the cottage? Who was the lady that told us to get out before?
Leave.
That said
said
leave. Yeah, definitely.
Do you want us to leave?
We will be leaving shortly. That sounded like die.
Can you tell us your name, please? Did she say sit? Vincent?
Yeah, that did sound a bit like Vincent. Full nose Vincent. Could be him. How long have you been here in this cottage?
Is there something you would like us to know? Yeah, we heard die as well or a little while ago, Sharon.
And someone before was saying the name Lachlan was coming through a lot. I was hearing that as well before. Ah, someone heard doctor. That sounded like...
Yeah, there was definitely a woman who said leave.
Yes. The name Vincent is interesting because there was a superintendent who was Dr. Fordyce Vincent. So that's not his full name, but it's interesting to get the Vincent coming through. I'm going to have a little look around with the SLS. Yeah, see if we get anything. I'm just going to go near the door and see if there's anything over there.
If anyone is here, can you give us a sign, please? Perhaps you'd like to open the cupboard door.
Door.
Door?
It says door, yeah.
Can you open the cupboard door, please? Get out. There's that lady saying get out. We won't be in here much longer.
Sounds like leave again.
Can you just open the cupboard door for us, please?
This cupboard does have a reputation for opening by itself. A lot of people have witnessed it.
Deb, that's a
Deb,
your
yeah.
name. Oh, the child.
Yeah, that was a child's voice. Is Isaac in here? He has come through to us before and sounded quite excited to communicate with us, but that particular night, I remember it was near Christmas time and we were asking him if he remembers Santa coming and that sort of thing. And then another voice came through that was male and said no, and then we said, oh, can we please talk to Isaac again? And it said no. So yeah, they took him away. We weren't allowed to say any more to him, but he came through very clearly.
It's the women that just said. It's the women.
I wonder if they're referring to women in the house. I mean,
Sit.
you were told to sit down.
I'm sitting. Can you tell us what happened in here, please? It's like out again.
Yeah, that comes through quite a bit. I'm just going to put this down for a sec.
We're going to give you guys in a moment some time to ask some questions. Can you see this cupboard here, please? Can you open that up for us? Yep, this one. You're sitting. Heard?
That was sleep.
I just heard Mel.
Yeah.
And the whisper, that man's whisper.
If the doctor is here in the house, did you have a bag that looks something like this one? Was that two?
Sam?
I want to say Sam. Sam, if you're here, do you remember this bottle of rum that Jackie left you as a gift? And we've got a cigarette here as well.
Is there anything else you would like to say? Bed or Deb? That sound like. Is there anything else you would like to say before we leave your cottage? Turn.
Some people have heard the word sad. Someone heard them swearing.
That's Deb.
Yeah, that sounded like Deb, didn't it? And they're saying Sam. Yeah, I heard them say two as well. No, I haven't heard the music ourselves. Which music? Yeah, we are trying to listen, but we have to ask some questions as well. Oh, something's going off.
REM pod's going off, Robin.
That was in here again. If anyone's here in the laundry, could you please make a sound for us or tap on something? Mel's just grabbed the EMF meter. The red lights that you're seeing, that's from a laser grid, and if it picks up any shadows figures, then they will pass through the grid and some of those lights will go out. So hopefully if anything like that has happened while we've been in another room, it will be captured on one of the cameras that we've got set up running around. Well, what do you say? We do some question time?
Yeah, so I think, guys, it might be that time where we have to sign off from the live tour, but before we do, we'll answer some of your questions. As I said, we won't be able to get through a lot, but we'll come back in here, turn this down. We'll just end the session by thanking the ghosts or the spirits that have come through to communicate with us tonight, but we're going to end the session now and say goodbye. So bye.
Bye. Closing session. Very sad.
All right. guys, thank you very much for coming along on this live tour tonight. I know it wasn't very long, like we can honestly spend hours in here doing this and the time goes so fast. But if there is any quick questions that you might have, Lachlan will just read them out to us and we can hopefully answer them. And if not, just ask your questions and we will go through the feed later and have a look and try and answer as many as we can.
All right, the first question I'm reading out is, has anything happened in the bathroom?
Oh yes, look, it's a lot of things have been said about the bathroom. There is a lot of negative energy in there. We get many psychics and mediums that come through here and will tell us very similar stories. And also people that have not been able to, I guess, well, they're not psychic or medium, but they can pick up on
feelings.
Yeah, that's right. So
Like
is sensitive to it. And they will often mention a woman.
A young woman.
A woman in the
Who's
bathtub.
been heard crying and sobbing, and the sobbing's been heard from the front door, and they've heard it from all the way down the back from the front.
So yeah, there's the crying and the sobbing, but it's always a woman, isn't it? It's always people will walk in on our tours and say, "Oh my God, what's happened in here? Something has happened in this bathroom." But to be honest, we don't know, but we can only go off what you guys tell us and psychics and mediums that come in and tell us. But it's not good.
Yeah, they often tell stories of things that aren't very nice. That they claim happened here, but none of that is in the records. We can't prove that it happened. So what is very interesting though is that we hear this sort of thing time and time again. These are people who don't know each other. Sometimes it's their very first time coming here as well. And when we keep hearing that same story from different people, it certainly makes us sit up and listen, doesn't it?
It can't be a coincidence when we hear it over and over again.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, you come and experience the bathroom for yourself. It's amazing. Look, it is pretty spooky, that's for sure. So what about any other questions coming through, Lachlan, just before we sign off?
Just waiting to see if there's any more questions coming up.
Any more questions, guys? As I said, otherwise if you want to do it later, then we can also go through it and answer your questions. But it's been short tonight, but it's just to give you a bit of an idea. This is our first time going live inside the Gravediggers Cottage, and we are going to try and do this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
somewhere
roughly
else.
fortnightly. So we've already got another building planned
Yes.
to go to. We can't reveal which one just yet, but it is another extremely haunted building that freaks a lot of people out.
Yes.
And before we finish, another question's come through. How does the sound box work?
Right, so this is the ITC, is that what you're referring to? So
Instrumental
yeah,
transcommunication.
instrumental transcommunication, as Deb said. And this particular one, this is the mini portal. So it's like a speaker and it is attached to the iPad, and the iPad has the app. The one that we were using tonight is called Spiritus. Now there are a lot of different apps out there that are available, and we can certainly post a few of the names that are up. But it runs on sound banks, and it's 4 sound banks in this case that change. You can set it up to go change automatically, or you can just change it yourself, whether to run 1 bank or 2 bank, and it's just phonetics. So that's why you would hear
Pieces
a lot of
words.
just gibberish unless we get a clear word. So it's supposed that the ghosts or spirits are able to manipulate those sound banks. It's not necessarily their voice that may be coming through, it's that they're manipulating the sound to be able to get a whole word using those sound banks.
And the mini portal here that it's coming through, this is a fantastic little device. You can use it for a number of technologies, so you can connect something like a spirit box with it, and it's got reverb and various noise cancelling options and things, so you can take all the static out if you don't want to hear that coming through with the spirit box. You can plug it into your phone if you want to listen to some audio that you've recorded, things like that, or a digital recorder, and your iPad, things like that. So this has been a great little device. We use this one a lot.
And the last question that's coming through is, are you going to do another location on site?
Yes, so as we just mentioned, we will definitely be doing another location in around 2 weeks. So if you want to post any comments or where you would like us to go, feel free. But we do have a building in mind for that to come out. But if you just stay on we'll just connect with the Facebook page, check that out, and we'll keep you posted to which building it's going to be and what time it's going to be as well. It may be different, it may be a little bit later, this one, the next building. So you can also jump onto the website as well.
Yeah, qstation.com.au if you want to check that out. And tours can be booked for the future, although you'd have to get it as a gift voucher, but there's a special deal going at the moment where if you buy a $100 gift voucher, it will give you $125 of value on that. So they'll be going up very shortly on the website to purchase, and they last for 3 years. So you'll have those, for whenever we're up and running again, which is obviously subject to, the COVID-19 restrictions. So as soon as we know we're able to start up again with our tours, you'll be the first to know. Don't you worry about that. But in the meantime, we're going to be coming in here. A couple of other guides will be involved as well, and we'll be happy to keep bringing you little snippets of us being
in the live
stuck in the building.
Yes.
Just see what we might pick up in some of the other buildings as well. So it's very interesting because the site has been locked up for some time now, and goodness knows what we're going to be up to while we've been away.
What activity we were going to get tonight, because the site has been closed for a little while now, laying dormant. Yeah. So thanks Lachlan for your help tonight and getting in the bathtub. That was good on you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks guys for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you logging on again with when we pop into our next building in a couple of weeks.
A few weeks' time. Okay, thanks for joining us.
See you later.
Bye.